You're listening to the Heartland Newsfeed Radio Network, heartlandnewsfeed.com.
The Public News Service Daily Newscast for Monday, January the 14th, 2019. I'm Mike Clifford. President Trump down 5% in the latest poll as the government shutdown drags on. Also on our Monday rundown, prison workers say the shutdown could endanger public safety and encouraging diversity among nature lovers. Topping our news, a CNN poll published Sunday found that Trump's disapproval rating is now at 57%. That's a 5-point difference from December. The ongoing partial government shutdown began December the 22nd. The Hill notes the poll also found his approval rating is at 37%. That's roughly the same as it was last month. According to the poll, 55% of respondents said Trump is to blame for the shutdown. 32% said Democrats are mostly to blame. Another 9% said both sides are to blame. And as federal employees go into their second pay period without a paycheck, desperation to make ends meet could pose serious risk for workers in the federal prison system. Tramel Gomes has our report.
With no end in sight for the shutdown, workers are worried, including those who commute from out of state for jobs at the Federal Correctional Institution in Tallahassee. Ray Coleman is president of the American Federation of Government Employees Union Local. He's also a corrections officer at the prison and says some people serving time will use anything to their advantage, including overly stressed employees.
They'll test you. They'll definitely try to see what they can get away with, see what they can get over on, see if they can compromise a staff member because they know you aren't getting paid. And when that happens, then you have a problem.
Hundreds of thousands of workers are stranded without pay as President Donald Trump demands funding for his long-promised border wall. The Florida AFL-CIO and other labor groups are organizing a series of rallies and events around the state urging the president and Congress to reopen the government. Coleman says although they aren't getting paid, he and many others are still required to be at work or risk disciplinary actions.
And the Trump administration has taken steps to shield the Interior Department from public scrutiny by restricting public records requests allowed through the Freedom of Information Act, also known as FOIA.
The proposal would allow the agency to deny requests it deems burdensome or vague, and officials at the agency say it's necessary because FOIA requests are bogging down the department's work. Jason O'Neill with the Western Values Project calls the move an attack on open public records and transparency.
As our organization and others have found, there's been a clear link between special interests, industry interests, and the work and the rule changes that have been done at Interior under this administration.
Interior Department officials say the changes are needed because FOIA requests have increased 30% in the past 2 years. Without access to government records, O'Neill says his group would not have uncovered documents showing industry requests for changes to the Greater Sage-Grouse Management Plan to tip the scale for oil and gas producers over ranching and other interests. He says watchdog organizations such as his and the news media rely on the Freedom of Information Act when agencies aren't transparent in their decision-making. For Public News Service, I'm Roz Brown.
A group of 9 volunteer aid workers goes on trial in Tucson this week for providing humanitarian aid to immigrants at risk crossing the Arizona desert.
The 9 defendants, all volunteers with the nonprofit group No More Deaths, were charged in 2017 with misdemeanors for their activities in the Cabeza Prieta National Wildlife Refuge on the U.S.-Mexico border. The group places jugs of water and other survival supplies for migrants in the refuge. Officials say hundreds of people have died in recent years making the trek across the unforgiving desert terrain. Justine Orlovsky, with No More Deaths, says providing humanitarian aid to save lives should not be a crime.
The reason that we provide aid in that corridor is because we have found and recovered numerous human remains, upwards of hundreds over the course of years. So we see that there's a need there. That means people are traveling on foot through Cabeza.
Orlovsky says No More Deaths is planning a rally outside the federal district court in Tucson prior to the opening of the trial on Tuesday. She says the 9 volunteers were arrested by federal officers for violations such as leaving food and water in the refuge, driving in the area without a permit, and trespassing. The U.S. Border Patrol claims the volunteers' actions are illegal and enable migrants to illegally enter the country. Mark Richardson reporting.
No More Deaths Charter states that their goal is to prevent death and suffering along the Mexico-U.S. border. The group says their volunteers have faced similar charges in the past, but none of them was convicted. And finally, Antoinette Kerr tells us Western North Carolina's rich public lands are technically open to all. A new group has decided to go the extra mile to encourage more people of color to enjoy them.
Elsie Brown, with the coalition Blue Ridge Forever, says the Pathways to Parks group, based in Asheville, was formed with a focus on inclusion.
There's sort of an image, there's a particular kind of person that is well represented. Our population is becoming more and more mixed race and more people of color. It's really important that we really step it up as environmental organizations and engage those people.
The National Park Service says Great Smoky Mountains National Park had more than 16 million visitors last year, and 97% self-identified as white.
A survey of nearly 3,000 Americans and Canadians found that among the 1 million people who went camping for the first time in 2016, nearly 1 in 5 was black and 11% were Latino. That's double the rate for those groups in 2014. I'm Mike Clifford. Thanks for starting your week cruising and cruising with Public News Service. We are member and listener supported, and we're online at publicnewsservice.org.
Live from San Francisco on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network, you are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with your hosts, Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive. Let's get it on.
How's it going, everybody? Brian Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Got a lot to get into here today. It is Monday, and that means we've got Raw and SmackDown coming up over the next couple of days. Not yet the go-home show for the Royal Rumble, but a couple of weeks left. We have got, I believe, 20 men for the Royal Rumble thus far, and significantly fewer women. And I hope they add some women because there aren't a lot signed for the Rumble so far. It looks like about 12. So we can go over the names announced for the Rumble, the matches announced for the Rumble. And, of course, we have our Raw and SmackDown preview. Big matches announced for both shows, including Nia Jax and Tamina versus Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks coming up here on the show tonight. We've also got a lot of news on a number of different topics as well. This coming Friday on Access TV. Normally when we talk about Access TV, we talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. But this coming Friday on Access, it is the debut of Women of Wrestling. Wow is debuting on Access TV. Tessa Blanchard's going to be there. Santana Garrett versus the Jungle Girl. Santana Garrett, by the way, is the WoW champion. So I guess they're just starting with a champion. No tournament or anything like that, unless I missed something somewhere. The Beast versus Steffi Slays. And the Governor's Daughter, Abilene Maverick versus Fire. Have you seen the preview for WoW? It's available on the internet. Checked it out a couple of days ago. Want to know everyone's thoughts on the preview. We've also got notes from PW Insider on the Vince McMahon biography film that has been talked about for a while. Pandemonium, it is called. We can give you some details on that. And, of course, whatever is on your mind here today, the phone number, 844-411-5411. That is toll-free, 844-411-5411. Text messages to 425-780-7566. We'll take calls, texts, etc. after the break. Mike Sempervive joins us as always. So stick around. Back in just a moment to kick it off. Wrestling Observer Live.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Joan London. When I needed to find senior care for my mom, I really struggled to find the right fit until I found an advisor, someone who had been through this before. That's why I recommend A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. They have experts who will help you ask the right questions and find the right place. Call A Place for Mom today.
To speak with a local senior living advisor, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-908-0265. That's 1-800-908-0265.
A Place for Mom has helped over 200,000 families find the right senior care for their parents, from assisted living to independent living, even Alzheimer's care, and have local advisors that can help explain your options at no cost to you.
To speak with a local senior living advisor, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-908-0265. That's 1-800-908-0265.
Call today.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Back in the show, Brian Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Everybody should know the phone numbers by now. If you don't, the toll-free line, 844-411-5411. You can send your text messages to 425-780-7566. All these numbers up on the front page of WrestlingObserver.com. And as we noted in the opening segment here on the show, this coming Friday is the debut of WOW, Women of Wrestling, on Access TV. Tessa Blanchard debuts Santana Garrett versus Jungle Girl. Santana is the WOW champion. I don't know where she got the belt. Somebody fill me in if there's something here I don't know about. The Beast versus Steffi Slays. And the Governor's Daughter, Abilene Maverick versus Fire. Have you seen this preview yet, Mike? Have you seen the video?
I've seen a preview, which mostly consisted of Tessa Blanchard and Santana Garrett jawing and then brawling into the crowd as David McLean hyped them up. So is that the same one you've seen?
I don't know. I mean, it was similar to what I saw. I saw one that was up a couple of days ago, and they introduced like a lot of the different girls. Did you see that one?
No, I haven't seen the backstory behind Jungle Girl or the Temptress yet, no.
I don't know if there's a backstory, but they definitely introduced some of the characters. And all I'm going to say is this, everybody. I'll wait until the first episode airs, and then I will let you know what I think. Because sometimes previews don't do justice. Sometimes they do justice. All I know is that when I watched the preview, WOW looked like a total throwback. Like every girl had like a gimmick name.
Like the Beverly Hills Babe.
Fire, the Beast, which, by the way, was my wrestling name when I did the Youth Wrestling Federation in the 90s, the Beast.
Oh, really?
At 125 pounds, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Fire, Beast, Jungle Girl, various names, and
Holiday.
It looked like something straight out of the 80s. And it's 2019 right now. And like we get people calling about women's wrestling all the time. We have female wrestlers on the show. There's a women's evolution in WWE. And I'm not trying to find the best way to say this. Like today, it's all about women being like themselves, like being people, like being real people who happen to be women that wrestle. And they have competitive matches. And the WoW preview made it look like it's a cartoon. It's like they're all some wacky character. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll refrain from commenting until I've seen more. But that was my thoughts watching the preview. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Just have to wait and see.
Yeah, but David McLean, it's not like this is not his MO. And I would believe that there's an aspect of the people who back this who are looking at the success of the Glow show on Netflix and David McLean's involvement in that. So they are going, I would say, to be nice about it, a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. I would hope that they are not going in a complete throwback to the Glow 80s. It doesn't look like they are, with, say, having Santana Garrett and Tessa Blanchard brawl. But if they're going to bring back the same sort of skits and that same sort of stuff, I don't know. You can have ridiculous characters if the wrestling, is there and is good. But yeah, I guess it's going to be somewhat problematic for some people. I guess with some of the different characters, I guess, that are on this show. I just don't know if it's as offensive. I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I just don't know if with everything that's out there, with all of the other competition, I don't know if they're going to be able to carve much of a niche.
All right, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm not going to mention the names. So I'll just say, and someone can confirm if this is accurate or not, but this person claims that somebody beat somebody else in an evening gown match to win the WoW title. Is that correct, everybody?
Well, never mind there, then.
I need to know if that's correct. I
try to give them the benefit of it out there.
We'll find out what's going on. I want to know everyone's thoughts if you've seen the video. It's all over the internet. Watch the video. Tell me what you think. Does this fit in with the women's wrestling scene in the year 2019? Is this going to be a hit? Or is this not going to be a hit? I want to know what people think. And obviously, it's still early. It's only a preview. We have to actually watch the show.
Out of what you saw in the preview, were you partial towards anyone? Did you say, hey, I like that Dagger girl?
Well, I Tessa Blanchard's really good. And, for I think, years, I've been baffled as to why nobody signed Santana Garrett.
That's true.
She looks great. She's a good wrestler, and she's a great talker, and she's a great personality, and she's, perfect to go around and represent your brand. I have no idea why no one's... And, there are some people, it's no secret that, Tessa Blanchard, every interaction I've ever had with Tessa Blanchard has been positive. But there are people that have claimed to not have positive interactions with Tessa Blanchard, and there are people that have claimed that her attitude is one of the reasons that she was not signed to various places. But I never heard anybody say anything regarding that and Santana Garrett. So I'm astounded that she's never been really signed anywhere. She had a couple of matches on NXT television. The people went nuts for her. They loved her, and they didn't sign her. So I don't know. It's baffling.
They never signed cheerleader Melissa either. I never really quite understood that one.
Well, at least she was signed to Impact. At least she was signed to Impact when they were spending money.
That's true, but I meant WWE more than anybody else. But
all right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's going on?
I can tell you for a fact that Tessa Blanchard is one of the nicest people you ever meet as a wrestler, because she gave me a free autograph once and even a free Bible verse.
Oh, wait a second. She gave you a free Bible verse?
Yes.
May I ask which one it was?
Say Corinthians.
I can't remember. I have to get out to the car and look at my wrestling magazine where she signed it at.
Okay. Listen, Ryan, the next time you call, you're banned from the show until you can supply me with the Bible quote that Tessa Blanchard gave you. So the next time you call in, you better have it, or I'm hanging up on you.
Okay, my question is about Walter. You think they're going to hire some bigger European wrestlers, for instance, people like Davey Boy Smith Jr. or even your...
Oh, my friend Ryan. Ryan, I want to thank you very much for the call. Are you out of your mind?
A little raspy.
They could hire some bigger wrestlers, but what's special about Walter is he's a big, scary giant. So why would you want to hire a bunch of big guys that are going to make him look less big? I want him to hire more smaller guys so we can go out there and massacre them. I don't want Walter in there with other giants.
You want Walter in there with the Mulkeys.
Dude, you know, I watched these old Royal Rumbles. Filthy Tom and I went through and watched every Royal Rumble. And there's like a period in the early 2000s where there's just freaking giants everywhere. Like, it's like the 2002, 2003, 2004 Rumble. There's like Big Show, Heidenreich, A-Train, like all these giant, Undertaker, Kane, these giants everywhere. And like, really, none of them stood out because there's just giants everywhere. I mean, the whole key is, like, you want to have a giant, and then, like, everyone else isn't a giant. Otherwise, you don't have a giant anymore. You have a bunch of big dudes and then a bunch of really little dudes who actually aren't that little, but you think they're little because they're in the land of the giants. So, no, I don't want them to bring in big guys to face Walter. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. Hello, my friend. Going once. Going twice. He hung up. Well, what a coward.
Really?
844-411-5411 is the phone number.
Andre the Giant was sent to tour and was never in WWE very long, or at least in the home territory very long, because Andre is special. He becomes less special when he's always hanging around, and he becomes less special if you always had him face Ernie Ladd and was constantly around other people who were legitimately as big than him.
Yeah, and when he did run into a big guy, it's like people remember Andre and Big John Studd. Like, Andre, they remember this because, my God, there's a big man almost the same size as Andre.
Yeah, Killer Khan, those sorts of people, those bigger people. So, yeah.
All right, when we come back from the break, we're going to head to a break here in a little while, but the Vince McMahon biopic. Got notes from PW Insider. Got a lot of connections in Hollywood. We'll talk about this and more news. Wrestling Observer Live.
You don't gotta go to work. Let my body do the work.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $500 million for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-567-2261. 800-567-2261. 800-567-2261.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You know what's not smart? Job sites that overwhelm you with tons of the wrong resumes. But you know what is smart? ZipRecruiter.com/Hewitt. ZipRecruiter.com/HEWITT. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't wait for candidates to find you. ZipRecruiter finds them for you. Its powerful matching technology scans thousands of resumes, identifies people with the right skills, education, and experience for your job, and actively invites them to apply to you. So you get the best qualified candidates fast. No more sorting through the wrong resumes. No more waiting for the right candidates to apply. No wonder why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S., and that rating comes from hiring sites on Trustpilot with over 1,000 reviews. And right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/Hewitt. And ZipRecruiter.com/HEWITT. ZipRecruiter.com/Hewitt. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
My mom's a breast cancer survivor. The United Breast Cancer Foundation saved her life. Their free breast cancer exam caught the cancer early, and it saved her life. But now the foundation needs your help so they can continue offering free or low-cost breast screening exams, saving more women's lives. Help them by donating your car, whether it's running or not.
They'll provide fast, free 24-hour pickup, and you receive a charitable tax deduction, plus the great feeling you'll get knowing your donated car is going to help save more lives. Just call 800-750-7220 to set the wheels in motion. They take cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs, running or not. Call 800-750-7220. The United Breast Cancer Foundation needs your help, and your donation could literally save women's lives, helping them catch breast cancer early, like they did with my mom. Donate today. 800-750-7220. 800-750-7220.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Hey, I want to mention, everybody, if you like listening to the show on Sundays in the car, Sirius Satellite Radio, we are now on Channel 93 as always, but also Channel 211, Dan Patrick Radio.
Ooh, I like him.
Simultaneously, we're airing on both channels on Sundays, so if you want to check us out on Sirius Satellite Radio Sundays, those are the two places to go. I'm going to arrange a massive letter-writing, email, and social media campaign to complain that we're not on Monday through Friday anywhere on Sirius Satellite Radio. But fear not, you can always listen to us here on Sports Byline USA, our over-the-air affiliates, sportsbyline.com, TuneIn Radio, and, of course, after the show, WrestlingObserver.com for the podcast, and video.f4wonline.com for the video podcast of this lovely show. A couple of notes into the phones. This person says if the Wikipedia article is correct, that's always questionable, especially if it involves attendances. The WOW Championship was reinstated back in 2013, 12 years after the shows stopped airing. Lana Starr won the reinstated title in January 2013, lost it to Jungle Girl in March, who held it for over 3 years before losing it to Santana in 2016. Santana has held the belt ever since. So there you go. That is the lineage of the prestigious WOW Women of Wrestling Championship. Kyle in Winnipeg, you're on the air. What's going on, dude? Kyle, now's your chance. Kyle. Man. Well, we'll try this next guy in a second. Let's go to the studio line. You're on the air. What's going on? That's two fails today on the phones.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, boys. Savon from Jersey.
Yes, Savon.
You know, can I change the prediction for the year? I want to change it to Ryan getting banned. Is that all right?
You know, it takes a lot for me to ban Ryan. But you can log that unofficially.
I feel like I have a better shot with that than you turn on Tom or vice versa.
Well, that is true. That is true.
But, no, in all seriousness.
Do you realize, Savon, that in order for me to turn on Tom, we actually have to have a match together? The entire time. Do you realize the entire time that there's been a Chop and Roll Express? Think about this, everybody. I came back after 4 years solely so that I could team with Tom as the Chop and Roll Express. And in that entire time, how many matches have I had? Like 3 or 4 matches? Oh, exactly one of them has been with Tom, and we've never teamed together again. I don't even know if we'll ever successfully team together again at this rate.
Yeah, really.
Well, that's what I was saying, because at the rate it's going with everybody signing in AEW and all this stuff, it's probably going to be you versus Tom in Mania.
Dude, at this rate, it's going to be me versus myself in Mania. We have no opponents. All of our opponents have dropped out. I'm waiting for Tom to drop out. I'm still here. I'm not signing anywhere. That should have been someone's prediction. That should have been someone's failed prediction. Brian will sign somewhere in 2019. That ain't going to happen. I'm going to be the number one guy in the Indies by default, because there will be no other guy.
You predicted yourself. Everybody else would sign, and because of that, you would be the Battle of Los Angeles winner by default.
It could be. It's going to be a one-man tournament. I'm going to win.
Well, Brian, good luck to you, my friend, because like I said, the way it's going, it looks like it's going to be you or Filthy or whatever the case is. However, I just want to get into AEW real quick, then I hang up and listen to you guys. Clearly, they're going to have working with different companies, New Japan and USA and whatnot. If that's the case, let's say New Japan sends their talent over to AEW. Is New Japan going to really want their champion, for example, getting pinned or, other companies' champions getting pinned if they do have a... Right, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. So how do you think that would actually work out?
Savon, my friend.
You know what I mean?
Savon, I have been talking about this now for months, my friend. Like, I won't repeat the whole thing. You can listen to 50 shows. But the fact of the matter is, All In was a success because everybody worked together and they were all friendly. Because it was a one-off. All Elite Wrestling is not a one-off. Signing dudes to big contracts. They're looking at a big-time television deal. They're looking to take over the world. Like, it's wrestling, everybody. I realize that, like, a lot of the guys, the Young Bucks are really nice guys. Cody is a really nice guy. Kenny Omega is a really nice guy. They're all really nice guys. Guess what? It's the wrestling business. It doesn't matter how nice they are. Like, it's the wrestling business. I mean, the idea that we're going to have let's just say that they get Turner, okay? Let's say they get a slot on TNT, all right? Now they got national television on TNT. They're directly competing against Ring of Honor. They're directly competing against New Japan. Like, everyone's just going to be all friendly and happy and helping each other beat each other. It's not going to happen. Like, I'm sure there will be working agreements. And maybe there will be a New Japan All Elite Wrestling working agreement. But, I mean, don't expect them to send over Tanahashi and have him do jobs, or Okada, or their top guys. I just don't see that happening. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I don't see that happening because at the end of the day, it's the wrestling business. And some things never change.
Well, and nor should they.
Not even the wrestling business. It's business.
Yeah, exactly. And look, there is... Right now, Fantastica Mania is taking place. No one can be more upset over how talent exchanges have worked than CMLL guys going over to New Japan. They get used terribly. New Japan sends guys over to the United States. They get used terribly in a lot of ways. The Tempura Boys and Evil when he was over here. Count the great moments that they had in their ROH experiences. There aren't much there, but last time I checked, if it wasn't for Sinclair's lawyers, New Japan wouldn't be running this co-op show at Madison Square Garden and be on the front side name of it. You know what I mean? Like, again, I know you're looking at this as a dual-branded show, but most people are looking at this as New Japan at Madison Square Garden. So, like,
I know, but it is a dual-branded show.
It is, but it's also New Japan at Madison Square Gardens. So, I mean, the fact that they're even there, I mean, AEW's got to get off the ground, and there could be possibilities. Obviously, there's one for Chris Jericho. There may be one for Kenny Omega to be able to play both sides of the fence with a contract. But from a business point of view, AEW has got a lot to establish before I go out there and damage any other business relationship I have. Now, because it's the wrestling business, would I do that in the drop of a hat? Yes, because that's what they do in the wrestling business. If you have somebody else who can take a better opportunity or can provide you a better opportunity, you go with them. But we got a long way to go before that happens.
All right, let's try this again on the Sports Byline. Let's go to Zach in Vancouver. Zach, you're on the air. What's up?
Are you sure this is the
Dom, what's up with the byline today, Dom? Oh, my God.
Because they know you're lying
Mike.
about the whole dual-branded show.
Let's go to the studio line. You're on the air. What's up?
Hey, this is fucking Memphis.
I can't hear a word you're saying. Speak up.
This is fucking Memphis here.
Okay, get out. I mean, I apologize. I don't mean get out, but, like, what is going on today? I'm shutting down the phones for a second. Let's go back to these text messages. I don't know why this... At least the text messages work.
God, was it like this yesterday?
Wait a second. This text message is backwards. I'm just kidding. All righty. This person here says, aren't you wrestling Jungle Boy and Dylan from 90210 on WrestleMania weekend? No! I'm not wrestling Jungle Boy or Dylan WrestleMania weekend.
Is Jungle Boy related to Jungle
Actually,
Girl?
You know what? Now they think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? We got no other opponents. I don't think I'm wrestling Jungle Boy and Dylan WrestleMania weekend. Although I hear that Jungle Boy is going to be on the All Pro Wrestling show that I just happened to be attending on, yes, February 1st. It's going to be interesting. I hear he's there. I'm down there for some business in the Bay Area. 3 guesses as to what I'm doing down there. But there's an all-pro show, so I'll be there. And I'll check out this Jungle Boy fella. I saw a Sports Illustrated did a little article on him. He has very pretty hair. You notice that?
Well, most Jungle Boys do.
Reminded me of my daughter's hair, actually.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you in your youth.
Me now.
Well, while you're down there, are you going to go smack around Dom and everybody else at the Sports Byline Studios?
I would never smack around Dom.
Work? Oh, yeah?
I think this had to do with you and him arguing during the break, and then all of a sudden the phones went all to hell. So I think there might be something going. Maybe the callers heard that and got scared and hung up. All right, some more here. In honor of Walter debuting, can you and Vinny finally watch the Walter versus Jordan Devlin match, including the phenomenal video promo?
Jesus.
Hey, listen, I've seen a lot of Walter, dude. I know Walter's great. Maybe I'll watch it after a while. I watched which Walter match did I watch? I watched a bunch of them a while ago.
I don't know. You gonna watch some Abilene Maverick matches to bone up on her and what she could do in WoW?
Team with Mike, this person says, Team Numbskull. What does that mean?
Hey.
Which one's numb? That's not even a good name. That's like if you were writing for WWE and you had to come up with a team name. Team Numbskull?
Hoping to be numb after the show.
Team, what's Sasha and Bailey's? The Hug and...
The Hug and Roll Express, when they do that?
What the hell's her name? It's so stupid I forgot it.
The Boston Hug?
The Boston Hug Connection. Good God almighty. Like, who thought of that?
Not Lance Storm. He'd be upset with the way the diction went.
That disgusts me. All right, this person here says, have you talked about Frank Mir starting pro wrestling yet? No, I have not. Yeah, Frank Mir's going into pro wrestling.
Oh, Jesus.
Which, why the hell not? He shouldn't be fighting.
He's got a good promo still.
Yeah, I mean, if they're doing shoot-style pro wrestling, I mean, no one's going to punch him in the face for real, and he's a good grappler. He may end up being great. I mean, it depends on the way they work those matches. No, he could end up being great. Like, if you get him and another grappler in there, they can flow roll together and put together an awesome match. I promise you. I guarantee it.
I guess. All
right, listen, everybody. I've calmed down a little bit. We're gonna go to a break, and when we come back, I'm gonna open up the studio line again. So let's try this again. Back in a moment. Wrestling Observer Live.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopRex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
All right, everybody. Let's give this another shot. Let's go to the studio line. You're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, this is Eric from New Jersey.
Yes, Eric. Congratulations.
I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Revival right now, their storyline.
Yes.
It's the same thing that they do every year around this time for some reason with heel tag teams, like a heel tag team getting screwed over and over and over again. They did this last year with Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, where like the wrong guy was getting pinned, and then it ended up with like a nothing match at the Royal Rumble. And the year before, it was Gallows and Anderson getting screwed by some referee thing, and then that ended up having 2 referees at their Royal Rumble match. I remember when they were doing this fresh start thing, and like the Revival got their tag team shot match, like that was going to be for the next taped Raw. The first thing I thought was, before I knew that they were going to do the match the next week, was they're going to put this match on in the dead spot at the Royal Rumble, and no one's going to care about it. And it feels like they're going like the long way of having them get screwed over and over again just to get to the point where I predicted they would be originally.
You know, I want to thank you very much for the call. It's funny because we watched those Retro Raw Nitros 19 years ago this week, so it's same week, just 19 years ago. And during that period where like they were just pushing Baron Corbin like crazy, and every show was just heat, Baron Corbin, heat. On the other show, it was the beginning of the McMahon-Helmsley era. Heat, same time of year. And in both cases, 19 years ago this week, right around Christmas, they did the big deal where Triple H faced the Big Show for the title, and he ended up getting humiliated and beaten at the end of the show. And there was a big happy ending on Christmas week. Same thing happened this year. So, yeah, there seems to be like a pattern that Vince has between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble, where we do a bunch of heat angles, we make everybody happy around Christmas time, we do nothing for the week, and then in January everything kind of blows back up again. So, yeah, interesting that you notice that with the tag teams, but seems like something that they do quite a bit. I'd have to go back. Maybe somebody can go back and look at the last few years, see if they did the same thing last year and the year before. I'd be interested in knowing.
You think Vince has ever asked what that hashtag means on the back of the Revival's tights?
What is the hashtag?
The hashtag FTR.
I'm sure he's asked.
Think anyone's actually explained to him it's got any lineage back to being the Elite and the Young Bucks?
Maybe they told him it meant something else.
That's what I'm figuring. Just yeah.
So
F those guys, pal.
I gotta mention, by the way, since somebody asked yesterday. So on the NXT UK Takeover show, the fans during I think the main event started chanting. I can't remember what they were chanting, like "Are you watching Vince?" or something like that. And then Vince went on Twitter, someone alleging to be Vince McMahon, and the Vince McMahon account tweeted, "Yes, I watched NXT TakeOver. It was awesome." Something like that. Mm-hmm. So yesterday somebody texted in and they said, "Do you believe that Vince really watched NXT TakeOver UK?" And my answer, my gut, was, I really don't think that he watched this show. I don't think that he did. Now, I don't know if Vince watched NXT TakeOver, everybody. Okay? I wasn't there. I have no idea. I haven't talked to anybody who would have been there in the room with him watching the show. However, I can tell you this. I know for a fact that Vince has watched the NXT UK television show. So, knowing that, in fact, maybe he did watch NXT TakeOver UK. So there you go. That's my answer for everybody. Now, I would like to go to the phones. Genghis, you're on the air from Detroit. What's going on?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
I'm doing fine now that you picked up. I can't hear a word you're saying, buddy. Try it again. All right, get out of here. Dom, I can't believe you let that one get through.
What was that?
It's the guy that wants to fight Dave Meltzer.
Why?
Because he's a loser.
That's
and
right.
This is what he builds his life around.
Genghis? At least you went with a better name this time.
I should have known. I should have got him earlier.
Still couldn't understand him. He's really struggling. Yeah, he wasted a shot on that one.
He wasted his time, and I'm just going to edit it off the show, so he really wasted his time.
Dummy.
Good job, my friend. Is there a backup plan in case Braun is not cleared by the Rumble? Would it be a gimmick-heavy match or a different challenger? Well, how can I answer this question? There's another name, I'll put it that way, and I don't think it's a backup. So I'll just leave it at that. Maybe we'll know more over the next couple of days. This person here says, I hope we see the Finn Balor we saw at the NXT UK show tonight on Raw. I am sure we won't, though. You're right. I don't know what to tell you. It's just not going to happen.
I like the person that called yesterday. He's talking about the 6-month and out deal for the Young Bucks that was rumored as what they turned down from WWE. And, you know, if you think about it, you're going into WrestleMania season. They would have been signed for 6 months. You know, these next 6 months are the most exciting things WWE does, at least for the first 4 months, and maybe a little bit coming out of that. It would have been no problem for them to probably have a pretty successful 6 months where they decided to opt in. It's what happens in the next 2.5 years after that, which, you know, that becomes the problem. So that 6-month thing, while it sounds great and it's probably very revolutionary for WWE to ever offer anyone, doesn't mean a whole lot. Essentially, it's just they can make everything look good and sound great for 6 months and then can get very ugly after that.
Alrighty. This person here says, would you want Goldberg to join All Elite Wrestling? And if he does, what other old guys do you think could join the promotion to bring attention to it?
I just think if you sign Goldberg, and if I'm them, I take any name that might help me get TV or might help me get some attention. You also already have a built-in storyline if they are willing to work together with Chris Jericho. And for a company that has got 1 foot in reality and mingling with their fan base, and another foot, obviously, in the world of pro wrestling where you have to put on a show, you have something there that very naturally melds together. And again, if those guys are willing to work with each other, which at this point in their lives, with money on the line, I am sure that they would if Goldberg were to sign, you know, you have something. If only for a very short period of time with one guy, you know, depending on who else you sign, but you do have a story there.
Listen, everyone. If Goldberg needs the money, more power to him.
He doesn't.
Sign with All Elite Wrestling. We don't know that. Sign with All Elite Wrestling and make your money.
As your buddy Dave says, right? When has Goldberg ever needed the money?
I don't believe Dave has ever said that. I mean,
okay.
He made a lot of money in World Championship Wrestling, and that was, I mean...
He's got a lot of other interests. I mean, he's not loose with the cash here.
It's been 15 years he's had to live off that money.
Brian the accountant.
And he's got the rest of his life ahead of him.
Doesn't he have some Bellator money or something? Remember he was an announcer for that?
Hey, listen, everybody.
Some K1 money?
You know how much money... Like, whenever people go, well, you know, CM Punk should be set for life. Okay, I don't know CM Punk's finances, okay? But I do know that I know how long he was working in WWE, and I do know how old he is. And, like, unless
nobody invested anything in this world.
Yeah, you can invest all the money you want, Mike. Like, if he's going to live to be 80 years old, like...
Has Goldberg been sitting on an iceberg this whole time, like not doing anything?
Mike, have you seen Goldberg's house?
Yes.
Okay.
And his car collection and all that? That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's hurting.
Mike, do you understand anything about money? Like, if you buy a giant house and a bunch of freaking cars, like,
hey,
that costs
Brian,
money.
He wouldn't necessarily need AEW money.
Oh, you're killing me.
Okay.
Anyway, listen, everybody. Crying out loud, okay? Very few people are legitimately set for life, okay? But the point of this is...
You are.
Listen. Goldberg came back, and he was awesome. He had an awesome feud with Brock Lesnar. He had an awesome little series, and he had one of the greatest 5-minute matches I've ever seen at a WrestleMania, or anywhere else, I might add, with Brock Lesnar, okay? That's how he's going out right now, all right? He comes back. Who knows how he's going to go out? And the other thing is, it's a nice fairy tale story to look at his final run in WWE. But do you know how many injuries he got doing 3 matches, the longest of which was 5 minutes, and the other 2 were like 1 minute and 36 seconds? He tore his groin practically off the bone. It was like black. There was something else that he did. He tore something else, his labrum or something. I can't even remember. This guy got so many injuries doing a total time of 8 minutes in the ring split over 3 matches. Okay? He's older now.
Yeah, well, if he needs the money, he better get used to it.
And he talked about how damn hard it was to look like Goldberg at his age. He's now 2 years older. So, selfishly, no, I don't want him to come back. But if he needs to come back, then he can come back.
That's the reason you don't want him to come back, because you're a dad too, or what? Like, what? That's why you don't want him to come back, because you're an old man, not because he might hurt his legacy, because he's already peaked with WWE.
I want his legacy to remain what it was.
Oh, for God's sake.
That's what I want. Let's see here. This person says, I know Lars Sullivan is penciled in for a big match against Cena at Mania 35. But with John being around so infrequently and his hair being an abomination, do you think a match against somebody like a rejuvenated Balor or Ambrose for the Intercontinental Gold would be better? No! John Cena. If they have plans for the guy, he should show up and he should destroy John Cena. Do you guys understand that, like, John Cena being around infrequently makes him a bigger star? Does anybody realize that? It's worked that way for everybody in WWE. When you're on TV every single week, like, in 99% of circumstances, you're just another guy on the roster. When you disappear and come back, you're, like, huge. The fans see you as, like, a returning big, huge name. So, no, John Cena's the perfect guy. And him wrestling infrequently is even better. Like, no one ever says, you'll never get over beating The Undertaker. He's only around once a year. No, you will get over beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania. It doesn't matter if he's there once every 5 years. You'll get over doing that.
What would you rather see, him beat John Cena or a bunch of geek legends all at one time? Would you love to see him beat up like 10 people at WrestleMania and get over that way instead?
Beat 10 guys at Mania?
Yeah.
No, he should beat John Cena at Mania. People aren't going to remember him
that match
running through 10 geeks.
I don't know. At least with Drew McIntyre, you have something a little bit more established. And I know, and it's nothing like, look, I understand what they're saying with getting him over by defeating John Cena, but wouldn't to me that like win is much better for a Drew McIntyre or somebody like that to kind of like put the final nail in Cena's coffin as opposed to a guy that
they're saying the final nail in Cena's coffin.
Well, I know it's not, but I mean it would be for probably 6 months until he pops up and appears again. It's like The Undertaker. How many last matches did The Undertaker have before? And then he came back the next year anyway.
This person here says, to back your point, once Shinsuke started on the main roster, he felt like another wrestler. He felt special otherwise. Dude, Shinsuke, I could rattle off 1,000 guys that were significantly more special until they were on TV doing the same matches every week. This person here says, have to say I'm impressed by NXT UK. I only knew of Dunn and Mustache Mountain, so just being introduced to everything was so impressive. And he says, John Cena should wrestle Rey Mysterio, mask versus hair. Damn right. Problem is, John Cena is not a regular wrestler. John Cena is he's a movie star now, and he needs his pretty hair. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
I'm gonna fight 'em all. A 7-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back.
Hi, I'm Joan London. When I needed to find senior care for my mom, I really struggled to find the right fit until I found an advisor, someone who had been through this before. That's why I recommend A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. They have experts who will help you ask the right questions and find the right place. Call A Place for Mom today.
To speak with a local senior living advisor, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-908-0265. That's 1-800-908-0265.
A Place for Mom has helped over 200,000 families find the right senior care for their parents, from assisted living to independent living, even Alzheimer's care, and have local advisors that can help explain your options at no cost to you.
To speak with a local senior living advisor, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-908-0265. That's 1-800-908-0265.
Call today.
We paid less for our Craftmatic today than we did 20 years ago.
If you're still searching for the perfect solution to a good night's sleep, call now for prices and free information on today's Craftmatic adjustable beds. And then decide when you see how little they cost. Rated #1 by consumers nationwide on consumeraffairs.com. Craftmatic beds come in all mattress types, including cool gel memory foam for up to 50% less than today's leading memory foam brand. Enjoy temporary relief of low back pain, poor circulation, nighttime heartburn, mild arthritis. You'll sleep better in a Craftmatic adjustable bed. So if you're still searching for the perfect solution to a good night's sleep, call now for prices and information. And then decide when you see how little they cost. Discover Craftmatic for less, up to 50% less than today's leading memory foam brand.
Call 1-800-689-0049. That's 1-800-689-0049. Call 1-800-689-0049. Call now.
Thousands of people contact InventHelp monthly about their invention or new product. Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Call InventHelp now. Best of all, the call and information are free. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential, explaining every step of the invention process. We create professional materials and submit them to companies who are looking for new ideas in your category. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review new ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We offer 3D modeling and animation, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to present client ideas to additional companies. Join people just like you who made the call to InventHelp.
Call for free information at 1-800-353-7017. That's 1-800-353-7017. Again, 1-800-353-7017. A fee-based company.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Back on the show, Brian Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. First says, I saw Jungle Boy wrestle DJ Z at Game Changer Saturday in Summit, Illinois. I think you and him would have a good, fun match. All I know is all these big stars from 90210 been ducking me. So I'd be happy to kick the ass of Luke Perry's son.
Damn.
In a heartbeat. I'd like to kick Luke Perry's ass. And David Arquette. I'd take on both of them at the same time. You hear me?
How about the son?
All three of them at the same time?
Yeah, handicap match.
Oh, what the hell? Crying out loud, I'm probably going to have a handicap match at WrestleMania at this rate. Me against no one. 1 against 0. So, it's just depressing.
Let me team up with your partner.
Quit signing everyone. I have a match I'm committed to here. This person here says, I think after Jericho, there's room for maybe one more legend like Goldberg. Otherwise, you get the same issue TNA had where you have like 10 legends and none of the young guys are getting pushed. Yeah. Listen, this ain't TNA.
Yeah.
The young guys are going to get pushed. I promise the young guys are going to get pushed.
Well, the young older guys, too. Like, the Young Bucks aren't they're not that young anymore, for heaven's sakes. And the other thing with legends are, you don't have to use them for the duration of, they can wrestle against, one guy and get out, or put one guy over and then get out again. You know what I mean? They don't have to be there on TV or on every single show.
Hey, listen, everyone. Tony Khan has been subscribing to The Observer. I think since he was a little kid. He sent in correspondent reports. This guy's not an idiot. He knows all about WCW. He knows all about TNA. He knows all about every mistake they made. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but, we're not dealing with a moron here. So I have hope If something gets off the ground, they get TV. We're out of time, everybody. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sundays 3 Pacific 6 Eastern. Check us out at WrestlingObserver.com for 9,500 podcasts, if you love podcasts, as well as the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and video.f4wonline.com for a video version of this and most of our other podcasts. Check it out. That's it from here. We'll talk to you again next time. Wrestling Observer Live.